It's Wednesday night, and that means it's time for the Lamar Thomas Show, featuring the greatest receiver in the history of college football. Just ask them, Lamar Thomas.
I was born in Ocala, Florida. I moved to Gainesville to go to high school. Been recruited probably since the 9th grade, illegally, I might add, by the University of Florida. I still can remember Coach Solinger, Don Solinger, coming out to our practice one day. Here it is, this guy comes out in the University of Miami jacket, and I said, I can't believe that's Miami out here. And, you know, I wanted to go up and say, hey, I'm Lamar Thomas. And actually, I did walk up to him and I said, hey, Coach, I'm Lamar Thomas. And he said, I know. And that was the start of my relationship with the University of Miami.
Having another good block, and Toretto lays it out.
You come down here, you'll be on TV every weekend, dominating. I thought about it. I said, man, where do I sign? My mom, on Saturday mornings, I would wake up and she'd be holding my hand. I thought she was the weirdest lady in the world. But she was holding my hands and she would be rubbing them and saying, one day these hands are gonna make you a lot of money. She was smart.
So now, here he is, the great one, along with co-host Gary Ferman of CaneSport.com, Lamar Thomas.
There he is, the great one himself, Lamar Thomas. How are you, man? How you doing this week?
I am doing wonderful. Can you hear me, Gary?
We can, LT.
All right.
Hear you. All right. Welcome, everybody, to, I guess, the final Lamar Thomas show of the 2022 football season.
Yeah.
As LT gets ready, you see it on his shirt, to go up the Florida Turnpike, take his act to O-Town for a couple months, and serve as the assistant head coach of the Orlando Guardians. I got it right.
Don't do what our head coaches did on ESPN and say Orlando Magic, and then
T-Buck did that, really?
Yeah, he was on ESPN and he kind of got a little nervous and he said Orlando Magic. Oh, why did I say that? Orlando Guardians. So
that's awesome. But yeah, so this is the final show of the 2022 season of the Lamar Thomas Show, sponsored once again. I guess I better get those sponsors up on the screen for one last time. Yeah. Lamar, the show's been sponsored all season by Caneswear, the place for all your game day needs. And right now, they are your spot for holiday shopping. And you can go to Caneswear. They got a lot of merchandise because of the way the season went. And stock up for yourself, for your wife, for your friends, for your kids. No matter what you need, Caneswear will have it for you. And the show is also sponsored by the law office of Christine Rosendahl, Esquire, PA. She's based in Palm Beach. There's the black card that LT carries with him everywhere he goes. You never know when you need a good attorney. And Christine Rosendahl is always there whenever anybody calls her in need. And you would be wise to give them a call, get yourself one of those black cards, put it in your wallet like Lamar does. And I got one in my wallet.
And she will travel. And she will travel.
How far, Lamar?
Well, I mean, shoot, she's licensed in Florida, so I guess she'll take all of Florida if you need her to. But she knows a lot of judges and lawyers all over the state, so she's pretty good.
You think would she come to Orlando if you needed her?
Well, let's hope she.
Let's hope you don't need her.
Yeah. I want her to come and speak to the team on a lot of things, because again, we want to educate these young men on life, some of the negative things about life, and we want her to come up and speak to our team. So it'd be great for her to come up.
All right. Well, you see the number on your screen right now, 561-512-6199, 561-512-6199. Christine Rosendahl, ESQPA at hotmail.com. She's your go-to lady if you ever need somebody to get you out of a jam, or, whatever, a little advice. We all need advice from time to time. So Christine Rosendahl will take care of you. Well, LT, the season's over.
Yes.
All the coaches are out on the road recruiting, which comes with its own drama. So I thought a great place to start tonight would be recruiting. And, you did it for many, many years in your stops as a college football coach. You had some wonderful moments like recruiting Lamar Jackson. I mean, that alone could hold up a resume forever, man. When you look at what Lamar Jackson has done, when you look at, what he's become in the National Football League, and you discovered him down here at the Deerfield Beach High and
Boynton Beach High.
Boynton Beach High. I'm sorry.
Yes. Okay.
I'm sorry. My bad. I'm so used to all those. You disappeared on us for a minute. I'm used to all those prospects coming from Deerfield, but no, you discovered him at Boynton Beach, and you took him to Louisville. Miami didn't really go after him at pretty much
late,
way too late.
Yeah,
they weren't, and from what I remember, they didn't really have any vision whatsoever of what he could become. Yeah. And so you took him to Louisville, and the rest is history. So, you've got a long history as a recruiter, Lamar, and it's tough for these guys, man. They're traveling every day. They're making multiple stops. They're flying all over the place, driving, going to high schools, getting in the car, going to the next one. Are your memories fond of recruiting, or do you not miss it for 1 second?
Well, I loved it. I mean, I completely loved it because I was recruiting, especially recruiting South Florida, Florida in general, to be honest with you. I didn't really care too much Atlanta and Mississippi. Let's see, some of the other places I was able to go, Ohio for sure, Kentucky. I didn't enjoy it, but Florida, it was something about me knowing the power of what I had done in the state of Florida that could get me into any place. It didn't matter what was on my shirt, whether it was Hampton University, Western Kentucky, Louisville, or the University of Kentucky. I was getting in the door because of what I've done, being a Floridian through and through, playing high school, growing up in Florida, playing high school, going to college in Florida, and playing professional football in Florida. So that's what I enjoyed about it, because these coaches knew me. They knew me, so they wanted to talk, and we talked ball, we talked players, we talked kids in the area, and it was just I really enjoyed, and I enjoyed seeing guys grow up. I enjoyed seeing guys that maybe I might have coached in at the Dolphins Academy, like Daryl's son, and all these guys that what's the kid's name? American Heritage. Aronde's son. There was the DB that's playing. He's in the league now, playing for Denver. God dang, Patrick Surtain's son. All these guys we coached when they were little kids, and to see them now grow up and you're recruiting these guys, and it's just outstanding. Some people, it's a grind, and it can be a grind, but to fly down, I knew where my hotel was going to be. I always stayed at a Hollywood Beach Marriott.
Did you?
And because I thought it was out of the way, from everybody else. I kind of had my own little spot. I knew the people knew me, get up for breakfast. They knew I was out of that hotel by like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning on my day.
You didn't even get to see the sunrise, did you?
No. The sunrise is while you're driving. As you're going to these schools, you try to be at your first school right at the crack of dawn, whatever school that is, whether it's in Homestead, whether it's in the city at Northwestern or Central. You just had your areas, Columbus, you had your Gulliver preps, you had your, everything was cordoned off, South Dade, you had all these different types of your map, and you kind of knew them. And for me personally, as I became an OG in the game, as they would say, I tried to pass it on to other guys I would see on the road that I knew they were green, and I would see them like from the University of Buffalo. I go, hey, have you ever recruited South Florida before? No. Okay, let me help you out, brother. Let me help you out. What schools are you trying to go to? Well, you can't get that one in the same day. The traffic is going to blow your mind. Okay, you got to cordon things off. So these are some of the lessons that I was able to teach along the way. I really embraced sitting down with the coaches. Most of them maybe I might have coached against or played against. It was just a lot of fun for me.
But the majority of the kids you recruit, you don't end up getting.
Yeah, you don't.
What's that like?
Well, my whole thing was I enjoyed sitting on the couch with these kids, talking to them, getting an opportunity to talk to them about life. Being able to sit there on the couch with them and their parents. You hear questions from parents that were kind of outlandish a lot, like, when is he going pro? What's his chances? I'm like, I don't know. There's so many things that are going to happen in between that. But you sell the university or you sell where you are. And you don't get them all. And I'm okay with that. Because for me, it was about getting to know these young men, getting to know their parents. And, they still text me. They still hit me up on Twitter. They still, that's what it was about for me. And anytime they had a question, I was always there for them. Because you're not only meeting them, but you're meeting their families. And sometimes it doesn't go right. Red Wine, I remember Red Wine, we were sitting in his house. We thought we had him. And Miami came in at the last second. After the dad had talked trash about Miami. And we were like, what? But it was nothing we could do. But that was okay. It was okay.
He talked trash until they offered him and took him.
There were all kind of crazy stories. It was like the dad just broke us off and said, stop. Just so you guys know, he's going to Auburn. And we're like, Auburn? And we're like, we were like, okay, fine. The mom was looking at us all crazy, and me and T-Buck, and they were like, we don't know anything about this. A lot of times the fathers want to be recruited more than the mothers. I mean, it was crazy. It's just you learn the whole dynamic of a family. But the great stories are when you go into like a kid like Nicholas Norris' home, and you're sitting there selling the university with Bobby Petrino sitting beside you, and you're doing your spiel. And before Bobby Petrino can even bust a word, the parent says, stop. You don't have to say anymore. My son is coming to play for you because when I was a kid, you gave me your jersey and your gloves, and it changed my life.
Kids don't forget that, man.
Yeah, that type of story where you're meeting these people, or you met somebody. I had some instances where the parents are like, yeah, man, I remember we used to hang out at the club, man. You was always 100 with, it was a feeling of being back, being comfortable, being around the parents, because most of them I grew up with, or we ran in the same circles, and it's just an awesome experience. I miss recruiting. I'm sure.
I was gonna ask you that.
My wife doesn't miss it, but I miss it because you're on the road and it's just you. It's just like being in sales. It's like you're selling the university, you're selling the program. You're trying not to sell the head coach too much, because head coaches and coaches change, but you sell the university. So you do your research.
And you don't mind driving, so
no.
You wouldn't have had a problem with that.
Oh, especially in Florida, I love it. I mean, I'll hit South Florida, then I'll drive up to North Florida, and I didn't like the Panhandle too much, but I just enjoy being in a comfort zone where my worth, my credentials could get me in the door. When sometimes, and you go to Texas, I also went to Texas, and they didn't give a damn about who I was. They said, hey, just so you know,
he's just another guy in Texas
or Mississippi. Hey, just so you know, he's going to Ole Miss. So you don't want to talk to him, So it was kind of, the dynamics are kind of weird.
Florida's not a bad driving state, except for that I-10 corridor between Jacksonville and Tallahassee, man.
Oh yeah, that's boring.
That's a nightmare because you
that's
just
boring.
all you have to look forward to is Tallahassee, and that's
Well, I've gone through there. I've gone to Live Oak, Swanee. I've gone through there. I've gone to and driving to Tallahassee. You kind of know that Tallahassee, Florida State has that's their territory. So I can only imagine what Coach Solinger and those guys felt coming into Gainesville, being able to steal a kid. It's a high. It truly is a high because you're competing against probably where the kid grew up. And so you're trying to find, hey, if you want to stay here and be here forever, and what if you don't make it? You're going to be, this is the only place you're going to ever know. You try to throw those little things out. It's a lot of dynamics to recruiting, man. It's all about wordplay sometimes, and doing your research on the schools that are recruiting against you.
Do college football coaches like Mario's staff that's out recruiting right now, do you think they typically enjoy recruiting or do they hate it?
Well, I would hope being at the University of Miami, you would love it. I mean, this is that you holds up. I mean, even though they had a losing record, but I could only imagine being able to walk into a school with that U on my chest. It's just like the Gatorhead. It's just like the Florida State. Some of those schools hold a lot of weight. And when these people at the front office see you, they all of a sudden, it's different than wearing a Hampton University. They're like, what the hell is that? Or, West Kentucky, that red blob thing, they don't know what the hell that is. But when
doesn't matter what the record is.
No, it doesn't matter what it could have been undefeated. But when you see that U or that Gatorhead or Florida State's Seminole, the recognizable trademarks or logos.
It's interesting. It's like I think about these things always at this time of year, and obviously this is a very critical recruiting year for Miami Lamar, and I know the voice of the fan, Bruce Warner. He loves every minute of recruiting. He texts me almost every day, wants to know what's going on. So let's bring him into the party here.
Bruce.
Hey, first of all,
you got the shirt.
I texted Gary like last Thursday before I went with my wife on her tour up north, which was spectacular. And I even brought Mark Caesar to the show on Sunday.
Oh,
that was
man.
wild. Yeah, he asked for everybody. But anyway, I don't know what's going on with the recruiting. I see what I see, which is McClain going to go to Bama this weekend, Gary? Do you know?
Don't believe so, but until the weekend's over, we won't know for sure, Bruce. Our old buddy T-Rob is up to his old tricks.
Yeah, well, that's true. Anyway, so I saw
T-Rob's trying to steal Miami's 5-star defensive back, LT.
Yeah, well, I saw a commercial for the XFL today on all the teams and the jerseys and stuff, and I thought of you, man. Listen, I don't know, this may be the last show we ever do, but I got to tell you, thanks for having me on. I really enjoyed these last 2 years, and Gary as well. And I'm going to take a ride up there somewhere, January or February. I'll let you know. I want to see you guys play.
Anytime.
I think LT will be able to find a ticket or two for you, Bruce.
I'll pay for it. I want a sideline pass. The hell with the ticket.
VIP treatment, baby. VIP.
I'll take it.
The great thing about being in the position that I'm in, you get to actually meet with the vice president of the team and you talk about decisions. It's not you're just a position coach. You're like in line and you're sitting there with the head coach and you're throwing out suggestions about, for one, we were talking about the music when they come out or what tunnel we were coming out. And I said, hey, T-Buck, when you go to do your Orlando media hits, how about this? How about you say to the Orlando fans out there, the Orlando Guardians fans, hey, we know we got some music people out here. You can make a song for us to come out to a contest, and if it's you, we play your song. And the VP was like, oh my goodness, Lamar, I love it. But these are some of the decisions you get to make, and I'm loving it.
Hey, is your roster complete, or where are you with the roster?
No, we still have the supplemental draft coming up in January. That was for USFL guys and
supplemental draft.
Yeah, supplemental draft.
Hey, are you guys allowed to take underclassmen that declare for the draft? Yeah, right. if they don't get drafted, you could have them, or would it be? Well, your season starts before the draft.
Yeah,
That's a great question. How about a guy that goes in the transfer portal that doesn't have a program right now? Are you allowed to just snag him?
You know, I was thinking
No,
about getting.
I'll back you up legally. Go ahead, take them.
I was thinking about getting in contact with Prime Time after this year, and if Sedora wants to have a year professionally, see if we can get him in the XFL, and then he can transfer that into the NFL. I don't know. Who knows?
Did you see his entrance at Colorado when he just got the Colorado job? I mean, he walks into the room, has a team meeting, tells everybody that he hopes they go in the transfer portal and gives them spots. I mean, I'm coming. I'm here. It's all about him. Me. What do you think about that, Lamar?
Well, myself coaching.
Come on. Here we go again, not talking about other coaches. Here we go again, Gary.
I'll tell you what, I was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe what I was watching.
So myself coaching at HBCU before, I was happy that Deion was able to come in there for a couple of years and bring attention to some of the bad things about the HBCU. They need more structure. They need more money. There's a lot of things that are going on, and he was able to bring attention. I noticed it while I was there, but he was able to use his platform to bring attention to some of these things, and I think it was great. He did what he said he wanted to do. He wanted to uplift that program, build a weight room. He gave some of his own money to the program. He brought that program, and I think the SWAC and the MEAC, those HBCUs, to a national forefront because, hey, they even had College Game Day. So people were talking about him. Mm-hmm. Now, I didn't expect him to be Eddie Robinson and be there forever. In today's age, you know, the Kurt Ferences and all these guys, you know, they're a dime a dozen. They're maybe even smaller than that. I didn't expect him to be in that thing for a long time. Especially, I thought that maybe he would wait until his son got out, his sons. But hey, the opportunity arose. I don't blame him. He's still going to try to help Jackson State out in a way. I think I think everybody understood this was a vehicle for him to. He was going to put his heart into it, but his vehicle, he was going to use that vehicle also to uplift himself too. So I don't blame him.
He's got a tough job, man. He's got a tough road ahead of him.
But Colorado, Lamar, like, you know, you go through that whole thing and you're selling J-State and you're talking kids into coming there.
Yeah.
And you know, you're building your brand and the whole thing and putting on a show, and then you leave Jackson State.
Yeah.
For Colorado?
He could have gotten an ACC job now or maybe next year or something.
I mean, Auburn, no problem. Florida State, no problem. Although Mike Norvell kind of put that one to bed for a while.
But we don't really know. You know, I mean, obviously, you know, his plan. He felt comfortable with Colorado. You know, we'll see how it goes. I mean, obviously.
Like being comfortable in Siberia, because that may be where he's headed.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a great place to have a whole roster turnover. I tell you
one thing he's got going for him, there's no expectations. That's for sure.
Correct. That's what I'm talking about.
But LT, and like, I think he let a lot of people down doing that. You know, you can't have it all ways. Like, I think he let a lot of people down by doing that.
Well, I really feel
the kids he's recruiting this whole season so far to come to J-State, they're in a lurch now. He took off, and so that's part of it.
Who I really feel sorry for are those kids that came to Jackson State to play for him
on his dream. Yes,
but I also feel sorry for those coaches that aren't going with him to Colorado. There are a lot of good coaches that were on that staff that. They're probably going to still be at Jackson State. I mean, so you think about it, if you're on that staff and you have your dreams too of going with him, and he says, no, you're not going.
He didn't take any of them, I don't think.
I think maybe one or two of them. And it's some good Gary, Harold, Flea. He's a great coach. He's a good coach. He's like this. When Deion had his toes removed, he was there as a head coach, and he did a great job during that time. He's been in the HBCU for a long time, and I thought he was going to get his come up. So you never know. I mean, I see where he's added Taggart to his staff, and there's talks of Kelly being on his staff. I don't know. We'll see who he hires. He said he's going to have the best staff in America, so I'm waiting to see.
He's got a lot of work to do to top Mario, record aside. I mean, in terms of credentials, but I don't know, man. We're not going to turn this into the Deion Sanders show here, but I felt for a lot of my friends and a lot of people that I know what he was doing there and what it meant and the respect that he was bringing to the HBCU arena and all those things. And I thought he exposed himself as being somewhat fraudulent in bailing the way he did so quickly to go to a program in Colorado, going to Colorado. Like that's not like, I don't know. I mean, I would have been okay if he went to I said, an SEC school.
But he's a head coach, man. I think that's, he wasn't afforded any opportunities except for Jackson State. The Power Fives didn't want him. They said he didn't have any experience. So he was able to create his own path. And so he's going to make his own decisions. I don't blame him in that case because, they turned you down. They turned their backs to you. And now all of a sudden they see some part of their work. Now you get to choose. And he chose.
If he turns Colorado around, he could name his price at a much higher level. But that's not going to be easy. But he can. Because right now, like I said, there's no expectations. If he goes 7-5 and then 8-4 or something with them, then he'll get a bigger job. Let's see him try to turn him down for that.
I tell you what, Jackson State is in a better place. So, he left them in a better place. So,
all right. So then let's put on our positive Deion Sanders hat then.
All right.
And
all right.
I'm gonna switch pictures here, and I'm gonna ask you another question. Can he make an impact? Since we're talking about recruiting tonight a little bit, can he make an impact as a recruiter at Colorado? Do people in the state of Florida and other hot recruiting hotbeds around the country have something to be afraid of with Deion Sanders now at a Power 5 school?
Well, I think his name carries a lot of weight. It's going to depend on his staff. Also, you got to put good guys in there that can go into these homes because obviously head coaches can't go out on the road that much. They're not out on the road that much. You see them when you get to campus, but you don't really see them out on the road except for only a short period of time. So he's going to have to put together a good group of guys that are going to be able to go out and sell the University of Colorado, also Deion Sanders, and that's what it's going to boil down to. But his name carries a lot of weight, and if he is able to get some NIL deals in Colorado, then he'll do okay. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. 8 games in Colorado, that's a good deal. If he can get 8 games in Colorado, he should be able to move on at some point. Because
I gotta believe his agent made sure that the NIL part of the equation was in place before he went there.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. If he didn't do that after that,
fired, do it in advance of it. Yeah, of course. I don't know what kind of recruiting hotbed Colorado is. I'm sure he's going to be tapping into Florida and some of these other southern states.
Of course. He's already gotten Taggart over there, and what's it, David Kelly that was at FAU and UCF. He's been in all these places in Florida. He knows what he's gonna get into Florida. The question is whether these kids are gonna want to come out there because that it's cold out there now. But you can't smoke weed out there. So some kids might want to come.
There's no doubt about that.
No doubt about that.
So Jason C., one of our viewer is one of my favorite guys. We joke around, we got this little saying that we can walk and chew gum at the same time. He says that everyone seems happier now that the hurricane season is over.
Yes. Yes.
Are you happier?
I am so much more happier that my stress level, it was a bad season. 5-7. It's not what we envisioned when we started this show this year. And it was bad to watch. It was gut-wrenching at times. And I tell you, I really actually have to sit through that Florida State game to the end.
Brutal.
That was brutal, man.
I don't know if the word's happier, guys. I think the word is relieved. I'm relieved it's over. I'm not happy. I'm definitely not happy, but I'm relieved because now it's in the past and we have things to look forward to. We hope. I don't want to start losing these recruits because that'll make me angry.
We can move on.
Yeah, we can move on. Right.
Yeah.
I know one guy that's happy or relieved, whatever word you want to use. That's Mario Cristobal because now he is in his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now this is his element. This is his time. This is where he thrives, and he is out on the recruiting trail, slugging it out, and people are trying to steal his recruits, and he's having to make power moves to keep them secured. And I'm sure it doesn't hurt that he's probably got the biggest NIL budget in America behind him to get things done.
And did you see the blueprint of the little rough draft of the $100 million facility type deal? Where the hell is that going?
It's going.
I was trying to look at it. Go, where the hell is that on camera?
Right. So picture the practice field. Right. The east side of the practice field. You can envision it probably better here. And there's like that little creek there. Mm-hmm. And this building is going to be on the other side of the creek.
What?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes. And then if you see that walkway they've got where the players are hanging out.
Yeah. That's
that
going over
will
the
take
creek?
the players to the indoor practice facility and the practice field. And the indoor practice facility will be expanded. It's going to be 100 yards now.
Good.
And so that walkway will connect and probably involve a bridge over the creek, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And go
we got
to the
engineers. We got engineers.
Yeah. And then the thing I really like, Lamar, is if you look in the upper right-hand corner, you can see that's Mario up there, man. That's Mario's office overlooking the entire empire. He could see everything from up there. He could see the practice field. He'll be able to see the indoor probably, when it's open. So yeah, that's really, really cool. So yeah, it's funny because you would have expected this to leak out through like this major announcement and with great fanfare to kick off a fundraising campaign and the whole thing. You know how this leaked out? They had to file paperwork, Lamar, with the city of Coral Gables, and part of that paperwork included those pictures.
It has to. It has to, right?
How much? $100 million?
Probably 150.
Yeah,
$150 million.
Yeah.
Jump change to you, LT.
And then they're also going to build softball stadium. They're going to move the track, I think.
Wait. Did you say a softball stadium?
I think they're adding a women's softball team.
Wait.
Yeah.
So you add women's softball, you might be able to bring back men's golf.
Maybe.
You got to add a sport. And I talked to Radakovich about that. I said, hey, man, how do we not have golf, man? Why don't you add gymnastics for the guys?
Gymnastics?
Yeah. He said, well, my wife is a gymnast. So
okay.
I just said, hey, why don't you add gymnastics? That's a woman's sport. He said, I love the idea. I added, the last sport I added at Clemson was gymnastics. The problem with gymnastics is not where they perform. It's where they practice. So you got to build. That's why he said that
you got to build a whole facility for them to practice. Yeah.
Yes.
So let's get back to football if we can.
All right.
Since I was somewhat out of the loop the last week, all the coaches are staying, Gary. We don't know.
We don't know. I mean, there's been no movement in that regard to this point. They're all out recruiting.
All right. And so what about some of these big name guys? I know I see everybody asking you for percentages or Matt for percentages.
Yeah.
What do you think about Sampson? Now he's basically claiming nobody's in the lead. I don't know about that.
85%. He's going to announce December the 15th. He's Lamar Sampson Oklahoma. He's a 5-star offensive tackle that looks like he's ready for the National Football League right now.
Mm-hmm.
He will be their third 5-star recruit.
He looks like Orlando Pace. He's big.
He really does, yeah.
Big. I mean, Bryant was really big, but he was tall. This guy looks like Orlando Pace. He's just big. But we got to get him.
I think one of the things that Mario said in that press conference, his last press conference I watched, there was some truth to that. As far as there was a lot of truth to a lot of what he was saying, but I love the fact that he talked about, they gotta build depth.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing, man. You're not gonna win championships until you build depth. I mean, you can empty your roster, but the guys you're bringing in here, they got to be able to be stacked up. And a lot of guys don't want to come here to be stacked up. They want to come, this transfer portal thing, which is weird to me. Some of these guys haven't played in years. Some of these guys didn't play last year. Some of these guys started games. It's weird. Some of these guys are making their who's going to take you? You haven't played in years. What are you thinking just because you're recruited by these guys? Like for some people 6 years ago. There's some super seniors in that thing, man. So
how about some of the best quarterbacks in the ACC?
Yeah. This is
that's true about Drake May. He's in the portal.
No, I don't think so.
That's right.
I think that was a bad rumor.
But his OC went where? Where did the OC go?
He went. I just read something about him going somewhere.
Longo took a job.
Longo took a job, and I just saw it.
I just saw it too.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
That's why his name might be mentioned.
Wisconsin? No, somewhere.
Oh, Wisconsin.
It might be Wisconsin. You're right.
Wisconsin hired him. Why would
you shot Dennis Lopez?
Is that a move up? You're the OC at North Carolina, and you go take the job at Wisconsin. Is that a move up?
I don't think so.
Especially when Mac Brown is late in his career, and you're still holding out hope. Maybe you can get the head job.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if you got all these people, this is scary, man. You got all. I couldn't imagine looking at my roster and going, "What guys are going to leave? What guys on this roster are pissed off because I probably didn't play them?"
Wait, what guy? Pope's in the portal again.
Pope is like a ninth year guy. He probably has 2 doctorates by now.
Pope is the guy that I think he should be on the Orlando Guardians.
To do what?
Do you think he can make the team, Lamar?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't. He's on.
If he really did something for 1 year, then something happened and he whatever. But he had never accomplished anything. He really hasn't. He's got Rambo. He got a good guy.
I got Rambo. I'm good.
You got Rambo. He's good.
I got one guy we can wear the U stuff together. And I actually got 3 of them. We got three U guys.
You got Borregales, right?
Yeah, Borregales and
the older Borregales.
Yeah, the older Borregales and the D lineman. I think I can't think of. He wore number 1 at one point. Man, I should know my guys. I was half asleep on the defensive draft.
Gerald Willis. You got
Willis. Yeah, I was half asleep on the defense. I was sitting there going, and we decided we went D lineman. We probably stacked our team with D linemen, and other teams were taking linebackers. So we got to come back in the supplemental draft, and we have to draft linebackers. Yes.
So in the ACC, all these starting quarterbacks are bailing into the portal. I don't understand that. You take this Phil Jerkovich guy. He's at Boston College.
Mm-hmm.
He's being tutored by Rob Chudzinski, who's on the staff up there as an analyst, purely to work with the quarterbacks and the offense. And 2 years ago, they had a decent team, and he had a really good season.
Last running back.
This year, they were terrible.
Yeah.
And he was the face of the team, and he bails and goes to the portal. The guy at NC State was a similar, face of the team, gets hurt this year.
Right.
So he had a disappointing season. And he goes in the portal. Yeah, he's good. They're both good.
Leary's good.
They're both of these guys I just mentioned. They're good, Bruce. To the point where if Tyler Van Dyke were suddenly to say I'm leaving, both these guys would be strong candidates to replace him. That's how good.
You announced for the portal. Can't you go back? You can go back to that school. Maybe some of these kids do it to get more NIL money. They're using it as that. Yeah, it could be. Because I don't know, where's he going to go? These guys have to be. They don't want to go to a losing team. They're good enough to go to a team that could win.
But Lamar,
go ahead, Gary.
Like how as a coach do these guys deal with this? Like, can you imagine being the head coach at Boston College? You're trying to put a program together, and the one player you got that's like a little bit of a difference-making talent that you could build around and go to the portal and try to surround with some dudes and stuff just bails on you? Like, how are you ever supposed to get anywhere, which is the greater majority of all these coaches in college football?
Well, man, it has to be tough, man, because you're sitting there again. You're looking at your roster, and you're just like, well, who are we counting on to come back? You're like, we don't know. I mean, you honestly don't know. When some of these kids hit the portal, most of these coaches find out by social media. I mean, this is they want to make a big splash on the social media and saying thank you for all your time and this and that. I mean, and then you have to go out and try to find replacements. Do you find freshmen who you mold them at your program, and then they're going to leave for a higher bidder?
It's horrible. I think this thing is going to maybe ruin football. Look, you could ask LT and anybody else. Nobody has the answer because this is the first of its kind. There really is no answer. A lot of these guys are going to suffer because of what's happening, especially when your quarterback leaves. Is the kid from Wake Forest in the portal too, Gary?
I believe he might be.
Yeah. He might be. And that kid's real good. But for that system, he's good. I don't know what else he can do.
He wants a bigger stage than Wake Forest.
Yeah.
Somebody will take him.
The problem is also, and I've talked about this, it's your team chemistry.
Yeah.
You got guys coming from all different programs for all different reasons. And most of them are selfish reasons. So you're going to have a bunch of selfish guys on your team.
Well, that's happening. Do you have an explanation as to why Garcia is staying, or is he still maybe not staying?
I've heard to this point he's staying. My guess is he does not have a better destination right now.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that?
Jake Garcia.
I mean, he blew himself out of the water with the year he had.
Yeah, right. So he
had the opportunity that TVD had last year, coming in for an injured quarterback, and he failed.
Right.
Yeah,
he's probably better off staying.
Yeah, he hurt himself.
Getting better, finishing school, getting his degree, because if this college football thing, may take a turn and get really good, but right now it's not going so great. And he would be wise to pave his future with a degree and finish that. And then he
goes to the Guardians and becomes their star quarterback. We can see the hand running on the wall for LT right now. His wheels are spinning. I'll keep my eye on Jake.
Well, he gets a chance to compete.
Yeah.
When Tyler leaves.
Yeah.
And then if he doesn't get the starting job at that point, he's not better and ready, then he could go in the portal and still have, I think, 2 years left to play somewhere else. So he's fine.
He was hot. He was hot when he wasn't out there. And then we got out there. It's like, man, the backup quarterback, man. He's the greatest quarterback in the history until he takes a snap.
We spent like 2 weeks talking about how they wanted to just bury TVD and let this guy be the starter for 2 consecutive shows, and all of a sudden he started out with those 2 touchdown passes, and everybody was screaming, "We were right, Gary! You're a bum! You don't know what you're talking about!" And then,
that's how it happens.
Yeah. I hope the fans and those of you who are listening tonight can relate to this. Hopefully, I mean, I hope everybody learned their lesson a little bit. Like, you can't be so overreactionary to everything. Somebody throws a couple good passes against an average or not below average opponent doesn't mean they are ready to be a ready for primetime player. But I did think in the case of Jake Garcia, Lamar, that there were some signs in the Pitt game that he was getting it a little bit. Like he had 193 yards in about a half in that game.
Right.
I mean, that was a positive way to end the season.
There were some positives about each and every one of the quarterbacks. Now it's just but it was no identity to me on offense. And each and every one of those guys did a couple things well, but they did more wrong. And I just think that with awful O-line play, nobody's really talking about Maribel and the job that he had to do. I mean, you're hearing about the coordinator more than anything, but shit, that O-line was terrible. And maybe it was because of injuries, and I know that's Mario's guy. He's my guy, but that O-line was awful. You know what I mean?
You can't run the ball. If you're the quarterback and you can't run the damn ball, they're coming after you. What choice do you have?
Well, also, Bruce, when you get hit in the back of the neck 3 times in a row by the same guy's man, I mean, there were just some guys out there that just it was awful to watch, and it was a bad year. Now I know he's a good coach, but it didn't translate. I mean, you look at some of the coaches we have on the staff, and you can mean to tell me that Maribel is that bad of a coach? No, it was just a lot of things going on. You mean to tell me Charlie Strong is a bad coach? You mean to tell me that Steele is a bad coach? You mean to tell me that Jason Taylor can't get guys to keep contained as defensive ends? I mean, I don't think those guys. I know those guys aren't bad coaches. It's just that you got to give some of that up on those players too. Now it's a marriage. It's a marriage, and you have to
buy into it though, LT.
They got to buy into it, and as a coach, you have to somehow get them ready to play. Somehow.
Where Mirabal went today?
Where'd he go?
There's a lineman from Alabama. He started 25 of the last 27 games at Alabama, Lamar. He played as a freshman and a sophomore. Mm-hmm. He's played 2 years at Alabama. For some reason, he's leaving Alabama. I know the competition's getting pretty tough there, but he just isn't feeling Alabama anymore. He goes into the transfer portal. He is now probably the top transfer portal target for the Miami Hurricanes, and Mirabal is up there today. I'm not sure. I'm guessing Mario is not.
Mario's supposed to go like within a day or two. I thought. The guy's name is Javian Cohen.
Javian Cohen.
I know he's not Jewish, but that's his name, and he's a big kid. He plays guard. What's the matter?
I was laughing at the Cohen.
But he's he would walk in here and be by far the best offensive lineman in the program.
Yes.
What do you think he's commanding out of the NIL budget, Lamar?
That's the thing, man. That's the thing. From what I've heard. Now I'm not in the building, and I'm not in college football anymore, but they pinpoint a guy, and then all of a sudden NIL jumps on, and then they get that kind of deal kind of closed, and then they commit, or is it vice versa?
I think it's it's supposed to be vice versa.
It's supposed to be.
So if me reading the tea leaves, what I would say probably happens is that kids know the parameters of what the opportunity might be at a given school, Miami or whatever, but they don't actually get to negotiate and sign the deal till after they have committed to the school, because it cannot be an inducement.
Right. It's not allowed to be.
That's the
It's not allowed to be.
Not allowed to be an inducement.
I can only.
How do you work around that, Coach LT?
I can only imagine Coach Solinger, Don Solinger, coming in my house, and I saying, "Hey, Coach, man, it's gonna cost you about 100 G's, man, 100 K, man." I could hear him say, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah. You better put another zero.
Are you effing kidding me?
You might want to put another zero on that.
No, this back in the day.
Right.
Back in the day. I remember telling a coach from a school, he had a briefcase, and I said, "You don't have to open that briefcase. I'm not coming to your school. I don't know how much money you got in there, but it's not enough. And what I meant by that is that I'm not going to sell my soul for what $5,000. You know, that you know, kids don't they see the money. Back then, you know, you might see the money, but it doesn't last your lifetime.
Right.
You know, you're gonna sell your soul for $5,000, and they took advantage of some guys. You know, $5,000-$10,000. I don't know. I just told the guy, hey, you don't have to open the briefcase. I'm not coming there, but it was nice to meet you.
Well, I feel secure saying that Coach Mirabal couldn't carry a briefcase big enough for Julian Cohen for what it's going to take behind the scenes to you know the parameters that Julian Cohen is going to have to see wherever he goes, and I have to believe Miami's not losing this one. Like
Maribel looked like a midget Santa Claus with a big old sack on his back or something.
I'm telling you, this one might set an NIL record.
Yeah. So Mario may have to drive up in a Brinks truck. That's what he.
So you had an interview with John Ruiz yesterday, Gary?
I had a town hall on.
Oh, you can tell me about that, baby. How'd it go?
It was great, other than the fact that his wires in his house were freaking out and the audio was terrible. So after the fact, I had to go try to doctor it up the best I could so people could hear him. But no, he's awesome, man. That guy has single-handedly saved the Miami Hurricanes athletic program. He really has. If he wasn't doing what he's doing, Lamar, Miami would be out of business. I mean, you know, you look at where the program is right now and what it's gone through, and put it into the environment that's out there right now with all this NIL and everything, and you give Miami a very minuscule budget, and the program it would be over, man. It would be over.
I had the chance to go sit down with him and his sons. They're interesting now. They're businessmen. That you know, he is definitely a businessman. And sons have a lot of ideas. Some of them are out there, but they all have their ideas. And you know, hey, it must be nice to live in a house that beautiful with the big.
Oh, did you go to? You went to his house?
Oh yeah, they have white couches. I know
it's unbelievable. I've been there a few times. It is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Then when you walk in, there's there's water. There's like water. You can fall in there. I couldn't have that house, you know. And I might come home drunk and fall in the fucking water and die. You know, the fish pond or something. You know, it's like a fish pond in the house. Like,
did they take you out back? Did you get to go out back?
I went out back. It wasn't no taking me. I said, shit, I need to see this, man. I don't know when because I used to go down that way to visit Preston Wilson, who played for the Marlins. He lived in that same neighborhood. So when I was driving down there for that business meeting with Melvin Braden, Toba Bain, and I was like, man, I've been in this neighborhood before. And I got to his house, you know, the gate or whatever, and we go in, and, you know, of course, the butler comes to the door and points you in the right direction or whatever. And, you know, it was, and I kept looking outside going, Jesus, is that a boat out there? Is that a boat out there?
So, what, I think it was 3 cigarettes back there.
Yeah. So I had to go.
Cigarette racing.
I went outside. I said, "Hey man, I'm going outside, bro. I gotta check this out. I'm gonna take me some pictures and everything. Like I almost had like my own rap video out that thing. You know what I'm saying?"
He had a party when he started NIL.
Yeah,
and they had their first meeting. They had it at his house, and he had the whole team at his house for like a dinner and everybody hanging out. It was really, really cool. The kids were like awestruck, man.
Oh, no doubt. Why?
Yeah,
shit, I was awestruck.
But you know what's amazing, Lamar, and you could tell me if you agree with this based on your interaction with him in this meeting. He's really a fairly down-to-earth guy. He is he's like one of us, man. Like we could sit with him and you don't feel like he's looking down on you or anything. He goes.
I can tell you this, Gary. He wanted to tell us stories about how he supposedly ran a 4.3 at the church.
He told me that on Tuesday night. He said he ran 4.4. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's taking it up a little bit because we were all looking at him like this. And I might have lost the deal because, you know, I said, bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he was like, yeah, man, I was fast and da-da-da. And I said, okay, man, we just had a great conversation. He is a good dude. I can tell, being a lawyer, he's always looking at that angle too. Like when we were presenting the plan that we had, he was looking at every angle, and it was interesting to watch, and to watch his sons throw their ideas out there about what they were planning, and you're sitting there going, boy, it must be nice to have daddy behind you, boy.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what? They're nice kids too.
They're good kids. One of them played at Miami, played baseball. Yeah. We talked about that. It was fun.
But they're all nice people, and he does. He makes his kids work. Like he doesn't just
that's what he told
money at them and stuff. He makes them work, and he's not looking to spoil them rotten and stuff like that. Like, I mean, all right, they're probably a little spoiled.
Yeah, I mean, they're spoiled.
I don't want to get too carried away here. Yeah, but seriously, like when you're doing business at the level that he's been doing it in the community for as long as he has, you're an attorney, you're suing people, things are contentious. You have some deal, not every deal goes right, some are going bad. He had some stuff in Homestead that upset people and stuff like that. Everyone's not gonna be your friend,
right?
When you live your life in that arena. And when he first burst onto the scene, a lot of those people came out of the woodwork. You can't trust them. Don't believe a word he says. All those things. But I'm telling you, this guy has saved Miami athletics. I mean, look at the basketball team. They went to the Elite Eight last year. They got a really good team this year because of him. He went out and he got Nigel Pack, who's a decent guard, and more than anything, the center. Omir, that guy is a beast, man. I keep watching this guy play basketball. I keep thinking, man, I don't know, like Norchad, don't go play basketball in Europe. Come play football for a few years at Miami and and John will give you a big NIL deal. Like Jimmy, you should see this kid, Lamar.
Jimmy, what was Jimmy's name with the red hair?
Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy Graham.
This kid is a way better athlete than Jimmy Graham.
Wow.
Like you should see this kid. He is a beast, and he is aggressive, and I don't know, I don't know if you'd make him a defensive end or a tight end or whatever, but this kid is the real deal. Well, this is all possible because of John Ruiz, and that's before you even get to football. So we didn't see the results of it this year because of the record,
right?
But I really think Miami's going to be in it to win it with this Julian Cohen kid, who will make an immediate impact on the offensive line, will walk on campus, be the best player at that position without question. And then you're putting him with these 5-star offensive linemen that they're recruiting traditionally. Now they're going to be true freshmen.
They're going to be true freshmen. That's the thing. They're going to be true freshmen.
Yeah, but this Julian Cohen will play multiple years.
Yeah, and then you got Zion coming back, and then there's Cooper coming back.
So everybody talks about Zion. All I hear is Zion. Is he the savior for us? I mean, is he?
No, I'm not saying he's the savior.
Man, he had a bad knee, and they tried to clean it up, and I guess it didn't go real well, and then they had to go back in and do a little more, and he missed the whole year, and now he's going to try to come back next year.
We need to talk about some of these guys. We need to go down the list of some of these guys that are in the portal that left Miami, and some of the guys that came out. For example, today, I guess I saw where the corner was coming out. I mean, he really has
Tyreek.
No, not Tyreek.
DJ Ivy.
DJ, he really has. Pro scouts are drooling over him, and he might even be a good pro. Who knows?
He's a graduate though.
Yeah, but he got about 2-3 degrees. He's been in college. He's about 26, isn't he?
Nah.
I don't know if he's got the speed for the National Football League, Lamar.
He's another
one. Play with these guys.
I think he might prove us wrong, man. I think that kid, the NFL scouts drool over this guy. Now,
really?
I don't know if it looked like Tarzan, play like Jane or something. I don't know, but
he's got length.
Yeah, he has length, and they look at it and they go, wow, So he goes out, runs a great time,
which
who
he
knows?
won't. He's like probably about a 4.6.
He doesn't have recovery speed, LT. You should know about that stuff. He can't stay with some of these kids.
Can you play corner at 4.6 in the NFL?
Well, how about moving him to safety?
That's what I just said.
He's not built to be a safety.
Man, he's built now. He's a good looking guy now. He is.
He looks good.
I mean, but he's been in. But this year 8 for him. I mean,
Yeah.
some of these guys been in college, man. Pope been in college about 9 years, man. He should have 4 degrees by now.
Let's talk about some of the guys you think that Miami, other than Cohen, Miami's pretty high on in the portal. Gary, do you have some names? I know that the Texas A&M, whatever, Commerce wide receiver kid, he's a big kid.
It's too soon, Bruce. They're throwing a bunch of offers out there. These kids are getting offered by so many schools.
Yeah.
It's going to take a few days for all that to sort itself out.
Is there anybody else on our roster that you think is going to go into the portal that hasn't?
100%. I think what you have right now are the guys that wanted to go in the portal,
right? Because they're upset. They're upset by something, or
right. Those
right. Yeah. I mean,
those are the guys that are in the portal now.
But here's the thing: unless I'm at a lesser school, why am I going to take one of these guys? They don't even play. Like, the kids get confused. They think, "Oh, because you recruited me then." Well, shit, I didn't even see you play at Miami in 2 years, man. I can't mess with you, homeboy.
I just saw Avante Williams tweet that he's been offered by Maryland.
Okay,
how about that?
I mean, Maryland. I mean, me personally, I might. Somebody might say something about this, but I look at Maryland step down from Miami, even though they probably had a better record. I'm just saying
he had to go. There's a whole lot of reasons.
What about Roger Rogers? His father made a comment. Now, he's still here, isn't he?
Well, here's what I was getting at, Bruce. So, like right now, the guys you see in the portal are the guys that wanted to go in the portal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once this staff gets done recruiting and gets through working the transfer portal, they're going to know what the real number is, where they need to get. And to get to that number, they are going to have to tell some of these other guys that they just can't play at Miami. And there's going to be a whole nother wave of guys that are going to be told they have to leave.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand that, but whoever has control over their own situation. So if they get in there now, they may have more opportunities at other schools. If they keep waiting, the numbers of people that are going to want them are going to diminish. So it's a double-edged sword.
Well, that's what I said. The guys that want to go to the portal are in the portal.
That's why some guys jumped in.
He wants to play here, the kid.
That's why some guys jumped in. That's why some guys just jumped in. They just said, "Hell with it. I might as well get on in there."
Get on with it. And none of them were going to play.
Are you surprised that Rooster left, LT?
He had to leave.
Right. He ain't playing.
After this season, did you see the Pittsburgh game, LT? I guess we haven't had a show since the Pittsburgh game.
Yeah.
They weren't even tackling Rooster.
Yeah.
They were tackling the football. They didn't care about Rooster.
Yeah.
All they wanted to do is pull the football away from him. He's a marked man now. He is a target. He had to leave. They could not put him on the football field anymore at Miami because he was a major liability.
Well,
he ran hard in one of those games.
I appreciate everything he did for the University of Miami, and we wish him the best. I like watching that kid. Obviously this was a rough year for him, but he gave us a lot of joy the year before. A lot of joy.
Yeah.
So,
and somebody will take him.
Yeah,
somebody will definitely take him.
Yeah.
I can see Rhett Lashley taking him if he can.
He shouldn't be running between the tackles, first of all. Plus, we don't even have any offensive linemen. Should have been used more in the passing game and swings and screens and stuff.
But he was dropping the ball, Bruce.
He was dropping the ball.
I don't know what I don't know. I mean, I don't want to get off on a tangent.
We better hope.
He clearly was not doing the right things to allow him to be the best player he could be because he was a train wreck at a lot of different levels.
Well, but also too, you got to understand this too. not all the time these kids get along with their position coach.
Yep.
And that's another thing that people don't take into account, that sometimes they don't get off on the right foot with the position coach, and they blame the position coach and they say, I'm leaving because I don't like him, or he doesn't like me, and they haul butt. That's always a tough one, because it's going to come to that. I mean, I had it happen with me with Jeff Badette, and he was second or top 5 in the country in yards per catch at Kentucky, but and he transferred. He came in into the exit meeting, and I was going to ask him to transfer, but he came in and said he was going to Oklahoma, and I dapped him up and gave him a high five and said, man, you're making the right decision, homeboy. It's just, we just didn't mesh, and I needed control of that room. And as an alpha male, I'm like, if I get this guy out of the room will be better, and that's sometimes the dynamics of it force guys to say they need to go elsewhere, or we say, hey man, you might want to go somewhere else.
And he had a golden opportunity. Citizen got hurt in the preseason, and Cheney got hurt right away. Mm-hmm. He had it sitting right in his lap. All he had to do was not fumble the ball and run for 600 or 700 yards, and he would have been okay. Now we're sitting here hoping that Cheney and Citizen get healthy for next year, which I don't know the answer to. Do you have any updates, Gary, at all?
Well, Cheney, no, I don't.
He came back at the end and played, but that means nothing. He could trip on a nail and be out for 6 months.
But no, I don't have an update yet on Citizen. He still has a little bit of a road ahead of him. All right, let's take a minute here, guys. We got a special guest in the lobby now, a guy that I know we're all looking forward to talk to. But first, let's hear from our friends at CaneSport.
Welcome to CaneSport. Family owned and operated since 2010, CaneSport has all the latest merchandise for the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Inter Miami Soccer, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of I-595, or online at caneswear.com. CaneSport, the spot Miami fans shop.
All right, LT, here's the guy that I know is on your holiday shopping list when you go do that holiday shopping at CaneSport. That's our main man, Canard Lang, back in the building. How are you, Kenard?
Fine stuff. How you doing?
What's up? What's up, K Lang?
What's up, LT? What's up there, big dog? What's happening?
See what he's wearing? Kenard, he's got that Orlando stuff on. He's dumped Miami. He's headed out to Orlando now, the XFL.
I mean, like this. Miami's in his heart, so it's always with him. He just got the Orlando on the outside, because that's where he's working.
Hey, I'm coming. I'm coming to see you, baby. All day.
You already know. Hey, the first thing I'm gonna do is say, LT, hey, come here, talk to my boy, and tell him how it really is. Then I'm gonna say,
I told you we're gonna set up something very special for your kids to come on over and be a part of the program, be able to watch some things. So we're very happy to have you on the show, man. And always from the beginning, I like for people to hear why did you come to the University of Miami? Everybody got a great story. I know yours ain't gonna be nothing short of that. So let's start with that. Why did you come to the University of Miami?
You know what? All honesty, because the University of Miami reminded me of my high school. All my years of high school, I only lost 3 games. And I won a state championship my junior year. And lo and behold, what a lot of people don't know, my same high school produced Deion Sanders and Horace Copeland.
And that's Maynard Evans High School. They had the numbers on. They had the green, and they had the numbers on the helmet.
Yeah, hey, our coach is a Bear Bryant like duplicate, where like our practices were like that, where in the aspect of I remember I can remember to this day, it was my freshman year, we had inside run. First play, the Sam linebacker came and hit the tackle in his mouth and dropped his butt to his knee. He's there been around 6'3", probably about 320. And I saw blood come out the side of his mouth. I said, Lord Jesus. I said, this is how it's going to be? But But in hindsight, though, that's the best thing happened for me. But I would say, like, that's what happened. University of Miami came down there. I remember I went to Tony Coley's room on my tour. He saw the room, and we, talked to him and met the people and the family. And High C told me about. He said, "Hey, Lang, this is just like Evans. You got the players here, the same mentality, and you're gonna win."
Hold on. He said, "Hey, Lang, let me tell you something. I get my boy LT. Me and my boy LT, we went deep. You know what I'm saying? So you come on down here. You come on down here to Miami, and you dominate."
Hey, he did. Hey, with a big old smile on his face.
With a big smile.
Yeah. So and that's what it was. And High C really sealed the deal for me. And Leon Searcy, he was in the school the same time as my brother, and his mother actually worked with my father, Dr. Phillips. And my dad asked about how it was, talking to mom, and that was another deal. So once that happened, that was really like the icing on the cake.
What other schools were? I mean, I know you had a lot of other schools, but what other schools were like in the mix?
I went to go visit Notre Dame on Heisman Trophy weekend. So
How was that?
All honesty,
yeah,
it's different.
Yeah,
it's different as far as like not just the weather, just like the atmosphere, just a little bit different up there. There's nothing negative, but everybody got their own. But it was just different.
Okay.
Then from there, I visit UF, which I didn't like.
What? You ain't like my hometown?
Hey, can I be honest with you?
Go ahead.
It's like it was a big front. Everything there is a dog and pony show. Smoke.
Was it perfect? Was it perfect? Was it like perfect? Like the dorms? Everything was perfect?
Oh, it was because they stayed in the stadium. Remember they stayed in
Yon Hall.
Yeah, I was like, no, and it was just different. And like my parents told me, I'm gonna be honest with you. My dad said, "Son, I'm gonna tell you, you can go here, look all you want, but you ain't going here." I'm like, I said, "Okay, Dad, I understand." And it comes about too. It goes long back with history, it's different, whatever. But then from there, I was supposed to go visit Clemson. I remember to this day, Coach Stockstill, I also went to go visit Miami. So after I went to Coach G off, I said, "Coach G, hey, I'm coming. You ain't got to tell me no more. I'm committed." So the last visit I was supposed to go to Clemson. It was Coach Stockstill. I remember this today. He's probably one of the coolest out of all the recruiters. He's probably one of the coolest ones when the aspect, he said, "You know what? Hey, I respect your decision. I totally understand. Young man, I wish you the best." But now, that was one of them. Now, that school you talking about in your hometown, big dog, let me tell you what them fools said. I committed to Miami. I ain't gonna tell you which recruiter it was. He came to my school that next day on Monday, and he said, "You going to Miami?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You don't look like a Miami guy." I'm like, okay, so what is that supposed to mean? What is it, Miami guy? But I'm not telling you, am I supposed to look a certain way? Dude, from that point, that rubbed me wrong. I mean, I still remember that from that school up there where all them the tadpoles. Okay, but anyway, when it came down to it,
tadpoles.
University of Miami, it was the ultimate choice, and it was the best thing that ever happened for me. Just growing up as a man, playing football, but supporting and being around guys who love football, had the same spirit, and I'll probably say that family atmosphere, where it really felt like a family. So I remember to this day, I ain't gonna talk too much, but I remember when I was in the locker room as a freshman, and I remember you came strolling to that, start clapping. I said, I'm gonna hit this back door. So that's all I'm gonna say. I ain't gonna say no much more than that. But you know what I'm talking about. You know, every time I was a freshman, I'm like, when you hear that noise, something about it. I'm gonna hit this back door. So, but the thing about it though, a lot of cats don't realize with that famous atmosphere you had. I remember when Russell Maryland came back. I remember Michael Irvin came out there when we had 7-on-7 practice with us. He backed this run up to the turf. He put on his cleats. Hey guys, bam, bam. Hey, let's go away. Then you had an LJ used to come out there. Mike Barrows used to come out there. So in saying that, that's why I say how the family atmosphere versus Miami is cool. That's how it is. My bad. I know we got off topic. I'm talking too much, but
no, you good. I mean, you know, we always we try to get the viewers to understand because you know, obviously we're not doing that well. Well, we didn't do that well this year, but we like to hear these great stories about the culture of the locker room, the culture of the team. You know, the things that we think that they are definitely lacking in now. I mean, when you got there as a freshman and you got to be engrossed in this, I'm pretty sure you were like, wow, man. Wow.
All honesty, I didn't understand the magnitude of it until I got there. I thought I knew, but when I got there, I really understood the magnitude, like where I'm at, where's a freshman. So I probably say I was more. I would say I wasn't a big guy, but like I wasn't like it's more than just being around that amount of talented guys and just watching the talent that's out there. Just like, damn, you know what I mean? It was that I probably if anything, that's what kind of caught me off guard. It kind of had me in awe when I was there. But as far as playing wise, just the ability I kind of felt I had it. But I'll probably say my freshman year. When I started, I remember Warren came to me. He talking about the older guys, just kind of listen, but I think it's kind of different now. I remember we about to play Ruffles. Warren said, hey, look here, bro. Hey, go ahead and shut up. All right? Hey, just listen to me, do what I say, and you be straight. Now, Warren, see, a lot of people don't know Warren and I, we got a great relationship. We both from Orlando, okay? So when he told me that, you know, most cats might get offended, like, man, who you talking to? But that's what we had in that huddle. We're like, okay, you respected each other, but everybody was held accountable the same way. We had a whole bunch of Indians. There wasn't no Chiefs. So if one person mess up, each person get cussed out. Now, don't think you can't get cussed out. Everybody getting cussed out. But in saying that, he told me that, and I just listened. In my freshman year, I ended with 10 sacks and had like the Big East rookie of the year, freshman year. But really, I come back and saying that is this. Now, a lot of cats can't take heed to that. Hey, man, just shut up and listen to me. I know you got a question, but listen to me, let's roll. It's that trust factor. We got to get that trust factor back, that vision and believing. And that's
you say that to a kid.
Is that possible to get that back again? I'll ask both of the two of you. Is it possible? This is a whole different world we're living in now. It's me and me and me. And you guys came in, and all the guys that I know from LT's team or your team, they all had a couple of the common denominators. They were hungry, they had chips on their shoulder, and they busted each other's asses as a family and as a unit. It's more individuality now than I've ever seen in the last 40 years. Can we ever get that back? I don't even know if Mario can get that back. What do you think?
A lot of that, to me, is culture from where you came from. The high school team you was on. In the high school, some of that is how you play. Trust me, you're going to have some that kind of have that, but it's like, more or less is believing in each other and our identity and believing in, I guess, in the concept that you have as a team and the philosophy. And also doing that, you know, it matters the right people that you have around and coaching as well. That factors in. I mean, I probably say I know my first year there, I had Coach Petrie and Coach Mark. Shoot, they was my first two coaches there. And the thing about it is like whatever Coach E preached, they echoed. And the thing about it though, and they held each other accountable. It echoed through the whole team, and that's just how it was. So, and that's what I'm saying. It's a fine balance of doing that. But so you get recruiting what kind of guy you get. All right. So, like to me, I was very fortunate. I used to work the Nike circuit. So I work with the 4 stars and the 5 stars, the guys that went first round, you know, Rayshawn Gary and the other boy, the boy Robinson, you know, all them other guys, boy played for Buffalo, the defensive tackle. Well, one thing about it, just because you're a 4-star ability don't mean you got a 4 or 5-star heart. Okay? So a lot of people might have these stars because they see their ability catching the ball and doing this, but what's their heart like? And what is their work ethic like? And what they play like? And I bring up 2 people. I know who in my recruiting class, who wasn't no 4 or 5-star, who ended up being pretty darn good. Like Yatil Green came from Lake City. He wasn't that big 4 or 5-star, but when they came to set it, but he was the baller. He played. And the last one, shoot, we ain't got to say much. We talking about Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
So my theory is this: you get ball players. 4 or 5-star, that might be the cool, but you get ball players. Like the old school say, get ball playing Jessies. That's what you got to get. Then you kind of fit them in, try to go where they need to be, and roll from there. Shoot, I was supposed to come in and play middle linebacker. I remember they lied to me. I'm coming there and said, you take it. I remember Ed Otis wrote, Canard, this is you gonna do. You gonna take Mike Barrow's spot. You gonna be in the middle. I'm just like, yeah. And I'm sitting there looking like I'm bigger than Mike Barrow right now. And I'm coming out of high school. So I remember I got to my locker. I opened my locker, 96. I don't remember no linebackers wearing no 96. And they didn't look at me. They got you too. They got you.
They got you.
But in saying that, though, is this: I came there as a middle linebacker, but I ended up putting my hand down in the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Holmes, same way. So in essence, sometimes you get them athletes, you got to put them in the spot that fit best for them and make the team successful, and they are football players. You just don't have no one-trick pony. So that's just my little thought on it. You know what I mean? Get football players. 4 or 5 stars, okay, good, but get football players.
Well, that's what Mario's trying to do, Kenard. And if anybody's going to do it, that's why Gary keeps saying it over. It's going to be him because he knows what he's looking for. And the guys on this team this year, are not guys that he would want to go to war with, and that's why he's weeding them out. He's doing his due diligence. Will they be significantly better next year? Hopefully. Are they going to compete for the title? Of course not. But the year after that, and after that, look out. You're going to have a bunch of Canard Langs and Lamar Thomases and Ed Reeds and Michael Barrows and all those guys that are in there in the practices, busting their ass, making the games easier, which is what all you guys have been telling us for the last couple of years on this show. Those practices were harder than the damn games.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Shit, I remember when damn Edward James was a freshman. Dude, I'm telling you, I remember to this day we had an inside run. So EJ, they ran a power play. So he took his jab step and went to go hit front side. He saw that backside A gap, boom, and hit it. But while he hit it, he looking at you and laughing and going. And you like, damn, you like, okay, man, this boy can't be this damn good. But every day he used to kill up on the scout team. And lo and behold, he was getting to be pretty damn good. So to answer your question, to say what you're saying, practices were harder. And I do believe in Mario. Because like a lot of people don't know, my first year there, when Mario was a GA, he was my weightlifting guy. Mm-hmm. So we built a relationship talking then and talking and believing. And he always been the same cat since then. And even when he left to go climb up the ladder and coaching level, and I talked to him. So I got full belief in him, and most importantly, he got backing from everybody here, a lot of people here, and that's which is a good thing.
You know, you got what, 10 years? Was it 10 years in the league?
Yeah,
was it 10? when you decided to step away from the game, what made you decide to go into high school coaching?
Man. You know what? All honest, I say every team I was on, I was always appointed like the captain. Mm-hmm. And then whenever a young cat come, the coach, D-line coach always told me, hey, get him and work with him. Mm-hmm. And doing that, then kids always kind of gravitated to me. And so I kind of say, you know what? I kind of want to do that. And actually it's been real awesome, to be honest with you. I'll probably say, of course I'm trying to win state championships and everything. But when you see a lot of kids' lives change, it's like awesome. Where like a lot of like first generation college students. So now you like, oh man, you know what? Coaching football is cool, but now you're really making an impact on a kid's life. Because now, he gonna go to college where his parents couldn't go to. So in essence, like I like it, really love like that, because that's really the big reward at the end. But I want to win state championships and all that stuff, absolutely. But when you see a kid get a chance to change their life and his family cycle, make it better, I mean, there's no better feeling.
So, and then you get your job, you get your opportunity at Jones, right outside the confines of the Camping World Stadium. I mean, that's basically on the same campus almost, right? I mean, they that close.
Yeah. So my first year coaching high school football was there because my alma mater, where I'm at now, it was already occupied. So they were looking for a coach, and everybody knew back then it was one of the schools that always had talented kids, but
always like Gainesville East Side.
So like our first year there, man, we made the playoffs. They had to make the playoffs in 15 years. My first year there, we made the playoffs. And how about this? My first high school game ever coaching was against my alma mater.
Wow.
Yeah, and we beat them 31-0, and they retired my jersey on that night.
That was sweet. And then you moved on to, and I always mess this name up. You got to help me. Wachovia? Was it Wachovia? See, I knew I was gonna mess it up.
I went to Wachovia afterwards because like I left Jones. I kind of not say I was like I had a chance to have some more resources, and the person that was in charge really wouldn't help me as much. So, and also too, Wachovia was the biggest school. I said, you know what? I went there and actually same thing. We made the playoffs my second year. That's their first year as a school existence ever making the playoff. And and on that team, check this out. So on that team, they started for me as a freshman. The safety from Pitt, Brandon Hill. He was my starting safety as a freshman. The boy Tyler Davis, the defensive tackle at Clemson, he was playing for me as a freshman. And I had another boy who went to Georgia, Ryan Davis, had another boy, Pollard, who's a starting D tackle, D-Tech. He was there as a freshman. So, so Wachovia, that year, I had like 7 D1 kids that were like freshmen, which was like, then I left there, then I ended up going down to FIU. So FIU was cool, get the college experience, and it was great. But I realized it's a lot more dang time than than what it is. So then after that, I had a chance to come back and coach my alma mater back here at Evans High School. I said, you know what? It was opportune time, and now my family's here, my mom and dad, and get a chance to spend time with them and do something that I love, and you can't do nothing wrong with that. I got my kids, my girls, get to see them a lot more now since I'm not doing college, doing high school. So it just kind of, everything kind of flowed right into place. So I know it's the Lord blessing me, and I just roll with it, and I tell them thank you.
Well, I tell you this, man. Again, we had a meeting the other day, and we talked about being able to get the coaches that we know and get their teams to the stadium and give them that VIP treatment. And you're gonna be one of the first people I call in Orlando to get your team to come to the game. Now it's gonna be important. We look forward to being engrossed in the community.
Thank you, and also to Lamar. Y'all tell you now. Y'all know I'm gonna tell you to talk to him now.
Oh yeah, come on, man. I love to talk, man. Come on. All day I come. You might have to just say, "Hey, man, don't come back tomorrow." Come on, man. Stop, man. Stop.
Nah. I mean, practice. You know how it was. We was all growing up. Like if my dad or uncle said it, we didn't believe it, but somebody outside said the same thing. Hey, you know what? So sometimes you might hit them like that. So That's
well, we're gonna definitely try to do some things in Orlando, in that area, and now obviously having some friends of the program, which I consider you, we're gonna try to get your program involved. So, man, we definitely appreciate you coming on here tonight, man. And so let me ask you this: what the pressure of having the state championship in Orlando, was that pressure of like, you want to get there because it's right there, right there?
I say it is an aspect. I remember we used to practice, and you can see the citrus bowl right there behind, and you see that, man. That's what we try to get to all the time. But it was easy for me. It was good for me. That's easy motivation.
Yeah,
I used to point right over there, and then we were trying to get to, and kind of go from there. Everything, but shoot, hey, and also too, I like to tell the Canes Nation now. Also too, by me coaching high school football, all my best kids, I try to send them back to the U. So I want everybody to do it. Hey, for example, y'all got my safety right now, Keith Williams.
He's doing good.
Yeah, hey, now he from my school. Now I got another safety back there with him, same way. So Canes Nation, no. Coach Lang, Canard Lang, number 96 in the books, number 1 in your heart was.
Hey, Canard, I was gonna say something because you called. I was gonna say, hey man, you're a high school coach. You can't say tadpoles. Come on, man.
Oh, I know. I gotta respect everybody.
You gotta respect everybody. You gotta respect it.
So hey, brother, to me like that Canard's gonna have these kids come to Miami and not be involved in any NIL money because he's got
to get their money now. They got to get their money.
They're going to pay Miami to come.
Yeah,
they're gonna get their money. Everybody gonna get their money.
Yeah, no, but all honesty though, but like for real though, like I'll tell all my kids how great the experience is.
Yeah,
and I always want them to go, and I always try to push my kids that I ain't gonna let them go where they want, but most importantly, trust me. University of Miami is always the first influence I give them. Tell you how great this university is. I got my degree from there, and it done great things for me. So trust me.
And on top of that, you lived on campus your whole time there.
Hey, and I loved it. I love staying on campus. Coral Gables right there, and we had heroes down there and everything. We had all this stuff. You had Big Cheese.
That man said, "There's no way I'm gonna move on campus. I got everything I want right here."
I was the same way. I lived on campus all 4 years.
Hey,
I wasn't going anywhere. It was too much fun.
Hey, because think about it. You had the cafeteria. I stayed in Mahoney. You roll out of bed. Where my class? I gotta go to math for the lecture building. It's right there. Why I want to take like 45 minutes trying to find somewhere to park? Way over at the art building. I got to walk way across. Oh no. Stay on campus. Man.
Mahoney worked just fine.
Oh, absolutely, man. And the rat skeleton wasn't that bad every once in a while.
Hey, Kenard, Markeith is doing a pretty good job. I think you're going to see him play a little bit next year.
Yes, and I saw the last game where I got on, where they sent him on the blitz. He came up the edge. Look, he's kind of aggressive. He's a thumper. I look for him. And he almost had a chance to make a pick. But the thing about Marquis, he's a football player. We're like he gonna pop. He's a football player. That's one of the things I like about him. So I think he's gonna do well.
I'd love to see them move James Williams to linebacker and let him go back there with Cam.
You know what? Hey, like this, you never know. You never know, especially with the defense now, how they kind of manipulate it anyway with the personnel group, how it is. I mean, you never know, because one thing we all know about football, when it comes to a coach, some way, sort of fashion, y'all got to try to get your best 11 on the field. Mm-hmm. So however that be, that's how I got to be. Because that's why I think high school football teaches. Ain't no go out there drafting, no get no kids. Shoot, you got little Timmy who still look at his little ear holes in his helmet. You better put a spot for him to play. That's all you got.
Well, thank you, man. We appreciate you, man. And I'm gonna see you when we get over there in the Big O. All right, brother.
All right, brother. I know nice little couple of seafood restaurants we can hit up.
Bet.
There you go. There you go. Seafood restaurant.
Hey,
great seeing you, Kenard.
For life.
For life.
All right, brother.
Have a great night, Kenard.
Thank you. I appreciate for having me. Thank you, fellas.
You well, man.
All right.
How awesome is he, man? That was great.
I'm sure he's telling all those real good players go to Miami. I mean, they're not getting all these kids, but still, that's what you want to hear.
It's a
I
high
like that. Gee, I don't say anything to these kids.
In the meantime, my phone's going crazy right now. The men's basketball team had a game tonight against Cornell. You know what the final score was? 107-105.
Wow.
Did we win?
They won.
Okay,
107-105. Isaiah Wong hit 36. I mean, I want to know how Coach Larinaga allowed them to play no defense like that.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, that's insane.
Up and down, up and down. That's
Yeah,
we're gonna have to.
But that's not good.
Hey man, we're gonna have to do a CaneSport basketball media pass so I can go down there.
All right.
We gotta cover basketball too.
You got a couple weeks before you got to head up to
Yeah,
Orlando?
a couple weeks. I want to go down there, walk around, kiss some babies, sign some autographs, watch some good basketball, eat some popcorn. I also
in all seriousness, Lamar, and we'll talk about this off the show, but I got 4 tickets that if you want to take your kids and stuff, no problem. Yeah.
Well, I always try to go down there and at least get one game in, but I also try to go to watch the women's play because of my relationship with my sister and coach down there. I love her. She does a great job, man. She's awesome.
Well, they'll pay you to go to the women's games. It's like almost empty. I thought they got the Cavender twins, these social media darlings with all their followers and everything. They're not following them into the arena. I'll tell you that.
Hey, Well, I know my sister was there, man. It was good to watch, man. Katie does a good job down there.
She does.
She deserves her respect.
Hey, I know we're jumping around a little bit, but these guys on the YouTube chat are working a little bit. So let's give them a little love, Lamar. Cesar Iglesias, he wants to know: are the renderings of the facilities on par to expectations, or are we short? I don't know how you could have expectations that are short when you're spending $150 million, Lamar.
Yeah, and it's new. I mean, that shit over there, that place over there is an old rundown building, the Hecht.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's old. And so you try to, I was trying to figure out how they were going to go up. They were going to go up because they couldn't go out because it's landlocked, or what they were going to do. So, anything is going to be better. And to be honest with you, in today's age, kids just want to be, to wherever they're like bells and whistles, that attracts kids.
Let's see. Somebody's saying that the Jerkovich kid went to Pittsburgh. That's not good. The kid from Boston College, he went to Pittsburgh in the portal, and that makes Pittsburgh better. That's not. That is not a good thing at all.
Back in the day, you couldn't transfer inside the conference.
Right.
Now they don't care.
So LT, so the coaches are out recruiting, and they'll do that now, and then they're going to have to take inventory and see how many spots they still need to lose here in the portal.
Correct.
Those are not easy conversations.
No, they aren't.
I mean, how do you tell a kid? It's not. You just gotta know it's your job to get it right.
Yeah, it's what you try to do is you try to go bring them in, and you try to go to the and I'm bending down on purpose. You try to go to the folder up under the desk, and you pull it out, and you have all these things that they've done. You gotta have your stuff on them. Hey man, you missed class like 80 times, you missed workouts, you didn't perform on the field. You got to give them good reasons why you're trying to get them out of there. They have to. You can't just, if the guys that hadn't done anything wrong, he's just not a good player. I mean, maybe you can tell them that, and maybe you tell them, hey, we can help you go someplace else. But for the most part, sometimes most of these kids that are transferring, they kind of hang their own neck. and you just have to document it.
Well, you would assume most of these kids know their neck is in the noose.
Yeah.
They know it. They know it's coming. That's why I'm saying some of these. I'm surprised more haven't gotten into the portal, unless they're just hanging in by a thread and they still want to be here, and it's really not their call. If they stay, they'd stay, and if they're told they have to leave, they'll be sad, but they'll go. Because I'm sure there's a lot of kids that don't want to leave. The guys that left wanted to leave. I'm pretty sure, But to get the axe like that, it's kind of like the NFL, when they say turn in your playbook.
Yeah. Well, I've always been under the assumption, like, when parents, like I would always tell guys, don't have your parents call me about playing time. I talk to them about how you're doing as a person, social life, that type of deal. But I'm not going to talk to them about playing time. And if they do somehow are able to get in contact with me, or they see me after a game or something like that, I say, hey, come to practice. Your kid knows why he's not playing, okay? He knows what he's doing, whether he's not going to class or not showing a weight room. Some shit he's doing is causing me not to play. I'm not going to wake up in the morning and say, hey, I'm just not going to play this guy. No, you have to actually do something that I can document. And it's all documented. You have to document things in order to go to the head coach and say, hey, this is a candidate for us to get rid of. And they know. So I'd say, hey, do you want practice tape? Because I can get some practice tape. Do you want to come to practice? Anytime, just come. But I'm not going to talk to you about why. You will see once you watch your kid. And again, most people think their kids are great. It's a slap in the face to see they suck.
But some of these kids may do everything right and just might not be good.
It's just not good enough.
That's a hard one.
That's a real hard one. But what you try to say as a coach, you say, hey, man, I'm going to help you.
Okay.
I'm going to make some calls and try to get you in the good. So some of those kids, they do everything right, and they're good for the program. But you might need that spot, or you sometimes do keep guys like that because they are good for the program. Because remember, it's about that culture in the locker room. And I don't care how many 5 stars you bring in this bitch. If it's a bad culture in that locker room, they're going to suck. And once they lose 1 or 2 games, shit goes downhill, man. It just explodes. It implodes.
That's what's happened the last 8 or 10 years. There's been
it
stuff
implodes.
that goes on that
I hope they get NIL deals before they're set free. So if they needed to finish their education, or to me that's the important thing, is that they get to get their degree if they want it.
Well, they should make, again, going on to my NIL deal, if they kick you out, then you should get like a portion of it.
Well, they're not. I don't think they're tied together, and I just hope that they got to do what they got to do. They can't. The University of Miami football program cannot keep going 5-7. Okay, they got to get this roster improved. They need spots.
Yeah,
it is what it is. But those kids hopefully will still get taken care of. The ones that deserve.
I hope they upgrade that coaching staff, because I'm not convinced.
So you want to upgrade the coaching staff? Where are the upgrades coming in? Let's see what you got, Bruce. What do you need?
I don't know the other offensive coordinators. All I know is that I had a problem with him from the first game, and you guys know it. That's all I'm saying. I saw things that I could never believe that they didn't call, or they didn't do, or they didn't use certain scenarios. When we don't score for 10 quarters, when you struggle in the red zone for the first 4 or 5, whatever it was, and I'm and the quarterback, who was spectacular last year, looked like crap most of the season. It's concerning to me.
LT, was it a mistake?
He's the scapegoat, Gary, but he's hamstrung with a horrible offensive line. But that doesn't mean the play calling couldn't have been better. It should have been better.
Was it a mistake to change the offense?
I don't know if everybody's. I don't know if everybody is Lashley. I don't know if everybody thinks like he does, but they were a hell of a lot better last year. But yes, they did. They had Rambo, they had Harley, and they had a healthy Restrepo. They had a healthy Zion Nelson. They had healthier players.
Healthier line for sure.
A healthier offensive line.
Not necessarily better, but healthier for sure.
But healthier, right? And so that and as we've always talked with their offensive line, with Bryant or Leon, you have to have the unity together. They didn't have that. They had no cohesiveness whatsoever. And you know what? Next year, if they bring in these other 2 new kids and they bring in this Cohen kid, they still might not have because they've never played together. So, all things have to build from a base, a foundation going forward. And this year was a disaster. Maybe that's the saving grace for Gaddis is that he had his one hand tied behind his back. I'm still not convinced of.
Richard Hill said he loves our coaching staff. He loves it. I mean,
Coming to visit Miami.
I look at it like this. You know what? Give those guys another year. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Because not only are they going to have to coach better, they're also going to have to be mental coaches too. Because you're bringing in a lot. You're bringing in a lot of different faces into your program, whether it's freshmen or transfers. You got to be able to pull this all together. I mean, obviously it starts from the top, but a lot of it is also on your position coaches and your staff. So they're going to have to do a good job of helping these guys mesh, being a team. I look at a lot of these guys that are transferring. There are me guys because they're transferring because of me.
Yeah, and you know what Gaddis is we can blame him for things. But, Mario doesn't want to be Lashley type offense either. It's not just Gaddis. That's
right.
Mario wants to be able to knock people on their ass, run the ball, and then physical off of that.
But people talk about the spread, like the word spread. Okay, Lamar, when you watch that Josh Gaddis offense this year, what was it? Like, what would you call it?
I wouldn't.
It wasn't just a pro.
Yeah, style. I can't. I don't know what I still don't know the identity of it. I mean,
like Dennis Lopez says, go back to the real spread offense, not this fake spread that we were running. Like, what's a real spread? Yeah. What's a fake spread?
I mean, you tried to run the ball and you couldn't run it, and then you tried to, because your offense also was predicated off of play action passes. I mean,
you can't do that when you can't run the ball. What the hell's the ball? Play action, you're going to get killed.
But is that his fault? Maybe he has a plan, obviously maybe it worked at Michigan. And so give a guy another year and let's see what happens. I mean,
look at Michigan's offensive line. My goodness.
If the line is up again, they're going to get his ass fired.
Yeah.
But LT, I come back again. Like, so he walks in here and he's inheriting a quarterback that threw for 300 yards in the final 6 games that he played last year. So what they were doing was working.
Mm-hmm. But that wasn't his offense.
Correct. But and I'm not like, I'm only asking you this because you're now the assistant head coach of the Orlando Guardians. Like you got some cred, okay? And it's like I see coaches do this all the time. They have their offense, their system, and they're going to go in and install what they do. Mm-hmm. But was it a mistake in this case?
Let me tell you this.
On Mario's part to hire him?
Well, no, just on I don't think it mattered who Mario hired. It's like he
wanted to know his offensive philosophy. He's not going to hire a guy who has no clue.
I know, but Mario, listen, Bruce, I've had this conversation with so many people. Mario tried to get Rob Chudzinski, who's a pro-style NFL offensive coordinator. Mario tried to hire Ken Dorsey, who is an NFL coordinator for the Buffalo Bills.
The head coach from Kent State too, right?
Candle.
Yeah, at Candle at Toledo. So
Toledo, I'm sorry.
So here's the thing. They're not running Mario's offense. Okay, this is not the Mario Cristobal offense. Mario will adapt to whoever he hires as a coordinator. He's not, he wants a power running game as part of that offense, but you can have a power running game in a pro style offense. You can have a power running game in a spread offense. You can run the ball.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing that I say on all of this, as far as, Gaddis, the coordinator, they need to evolve. I know it's not his offense, but I go back to Bobby Petrino, who might be one of the stubbornest people I've ever met.
SOBs?
SOB, but you know what? He said, screw this.
Yeah.
This talent that I have here, I'm going to do what he's better at and then bring along my stuff too.
because he tried to force the other stuff on him, and we got the doors blown off against Houston.
Yes.
And it took him a while to figure out, let me run what he's good at, and then bring my other stuff along with him.
Along with it, yes.
Along with him. So
that's
evolved.
kind of what I was getting at.
Yeah, he evolved, and he said, you know what? Hey, man, that's why the kid, and everywhere that kid is going, we're talking about Lamar Jackson. Every coach he's had, whether it was Rick Swain at high school who ran the wing T, when he got Lamar Jackson, he said, what the hell am I running? Let me run what he's good at.
Yeah.
Got to Louisville where Petrino had his great offense with the playbook this thick. Nah, let me run what he's good at, and then we bring along my stuff, and now we make it even more dynamic. Get to the Ravens. That whole offense is set up around him. Okay? It ain't the same Ravens offense when they had what was the quarterback before that? What's his name? I don't even know. He's at the Jets.
Flacco, Joe
Flacco. It ain't Flacco's offense because you remember the year when Flacco was there, they put Lamar in, and it was a different offense. But the next year it took off. So you have to be able to also do what suits your quarterback strengths too. You can't just come in with your own offense.
Get the Dolphins this year, Lamar.
Van Dyke's offense was last year's with Rambo, Harley, and Restrepo. He comes down here from Michigan, and those guys aren't there anymore. Well, Restrepo was being played. So you can't add something when what he had before is now gone. The kid needed some guidance and needed some help. And with the offensive line as bad as it was, no wonder he was jittery in the pocket.
That line in Michigan, I'm pretty sure it didn't look like this.
Didn't look like this, no.
Yeah.
And the thing is, LT, he started to adapt at North Carolina. North Carolina week, they threw for almost 500 that week.
Yeah.
And then against Virginia Tech, I think they had 350 or something.
Yeah.
And then Van Dyke gets hurt.
Yeah.
But remember, one of the telltales for me of the whole season when the quarterback said, now me and the coordinator and the quarterback coach are now sitting down and we're talking about that.
That's hard to believe.
That was weird to me because I just couldn't fathom. You don't sit down and you don't get the plays what he likes. He's the one that's out on the field. You might like plays, but he's the one that has to feel comfortable.
Well, that's exactly
what these calls
told us. Steve Walsh backed you up on that. He said, "Are you kidding me? That's what they're doing." He couldn't believe it.
So there was more to it.
Than
it's come to the public light.
Look, and Zion was out, and he loses Citizens. So you really lose the three receivers, our running back, and your star offensive. What do you expect? I'm not saying he's great, but I think he has to get another chance. So
he definitely get another chance. I'm wanting to get another chance.
Yeah, I think he will too. At least it looks that way right now, unless it's his choice to.
Yeah, maybe he might go somewhere. Maybe he might get a head job. But I think he deserves another chance. I mean, that's a lot to bring your offense down here and things go wrong as far as guys getting hurt, injuries, and you don't have the full complement of players to be able to run what you want.
Right. That's and the good thing is that you'll be with the Guardians and you won't hear me next year bitching and complaining.
No, the Guardians only for 4 months, man.
Lamar will be back. He's not going anywhere. We're not selling the palatial estate out there in Broward County.
We doing this again, and we're gonna get some more sponsors too. We're gonna be sponsored up like a race car.
Like All right. Speaking of sponsors, let's take another moment here and let's hear from our friends at CaneSport.
Welcome to CaneSport. Family owned and operated since 2010, CaneSport has all latest merchandise for the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Inter Miami Soccer, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of I-595, or online at caneswear.com. CaneSport, the spot Miami fans shop.
They didn't send you any specials this week or anything, right?
No.
It's just pure holiday shopping at CaneSport.
Hold on. Wait a minute. It's holidays.
So LT, what do you got planned, man? Tell us what you got planned. What's daddy daycare doing with the kids?
Well, we're probably gonna being virile for the holidays with the in-laws, and just enjoying each other. I just feel like these kids, man, they're a blessing, and it's gonna, Daddy's gonna be away for a while, so I got to spend as much time as I can with them, and I'm excited. I'm excited about Christmas. This is gonna be a good Christmas for us, and we're blessed. We're blessed.
All right, Bruce, before we let you go, any holiday parting thoughts from you?
Just everybody stay healthy, enjoy the holidays, be with your family, be with your loved ones. LT, I'll be talking to you when you're out of here up in Orlando. Yeah. We got other things we have to talk about, obviously, but I'm hoping you're successful up there and make the state proud, and we'll be rooting for you guys. That's for damn sure. All you guys should be shopping at CaneSport for your holiday stuff, and the store is just fabulous. I know the year wasn't great, but that doesn't mean they're not great. They are, and the people that work there, they're just incredible people. Gary, thank you again for letting me do this with you this season. It was not a pleasure, but it was. But you know what? It's better. It was, we got what we wanted. We wanted Mario. We just have to deal with it now.
Yeah.
And that's it. And everybody stay happy and stay healthy, and we'll see you guys, I guess, when? Next year. Oh, I'll be on the show Tuesday night with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
You're not going anywhere. We'll see you soon.
I'm not going anywhere.
All right.
That's all I have to say. And let's get these recruits locked up. That's what I want. My Christmas / Hanukkah present. That's what I want. I want these recruits locked up.
There you go.
21st.
Well, you got the right guy on the case, Bruce.
Yep. Take care.
All right.
We do.
Take care.
All right, Bruce.
All right, LT. It's been a great year.
Yeah.
I think on behalf of all the Canes fans out here, we couldn't be happier for you for this coaching opportunity with the XFL, assistant head coach of the Orlando Guardians, to go embark on here the next 4 or 5 months. And you've been coaching college kids for a while.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit of an adjustment. I know that these aren't the prima donnas that are in the NFL right now. They certainly aren't going to have the paychecks. How do you think it's going to be? Do you think it'll be a little different for you?
No, I coached in the AAF with that's Alliance of American Football League with Dennis Erickson. So I had a little experience. I've had a little experience coaching in this type of league. So I like it. I like it more than college because, you're dealing with guys that are right there at the cusp and you still have the carrot in front of their face. And so, when they walk off the field, you just ask them, did you get better today? Are you trying to make it to the league, or are you just trying to make this $60,000?
Right.
You want to make, so it's still that carrot in front of them. And I like the fact that we're trying to, and we will teach these kids how to be true professionals, because you don't play 8 to 14 years in the league without learning how to be a true professional. And what we try to explain to them also is that all it takes is one person to like you in the building, but it also takes one person, the wrong one person, not to like you in the building, and they will get rid of you. So you got to be able to do it the right way.
Well, you're gonna have one advantage over a lot of these college coaches, and you'll be making more money than your players.
That is true. That is true. That is true. And it's only, again, it's only. I've had some colleges call and inquire, and I said, "Are you kidding me? Where was this call months ago? I'm gonna make X amount of dollars for 4 or 5 months, and I still get to spend time with my family." And that is so much better than working year-round, probably making a little bit more, but only getting 3 weeks off.
Right.
And having to deal with NILs and college kids thinking they're better than you and all this other stuff. So we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to it. I look forward to the offseason, keeping in contact with you guys, seeing what Miami's doing, and
you still got your passport on the message boards.
Oh yeah, I still have it. Every now and then I sneak on there to
give everybody a little shout out every now and then.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I just
I'm in Miami. T-Buck says it all the time, man. What has Miami done for you? They've done a lot for me, bro. He said, you wear this stuff all the time. I said, well, I wear it because it's free, but I also went to school there. And that's my school, and I love it. And, I just want to see them get back to more than relevant now. I want to see them be successful. Not just relevant. I want to see them be successful. We were relevant when we brought Mario Cristobal in, and everybody was talking about us. But I want to see us go to the next level. And I said 2 to 3 years. So we'll see where this program is next year, and we'll see where it is the year after that. And hopefully we're back to where we're competing for that ACC championship, and maybe even now, since they have they're putting 12 teams in the deal.
Yeah,
maybe we can sneak in there. So it's going to be fun to watch. Fun to watch how he's able to mold this team, to mold this culture into what he wants, and let's see where it goes. I'm all in for the ride.
Well, it looks like he's going to have his quarterback to build around, and people went kind of hard a little bit on Tyler earlier in the season this year, probably certainly unjustifiably. I mean, he was being asked to do some different things, and he struggled with it, no doubt. My guess is they'll get that right by September this year. He was just coming around when he had the injury issues, and I think he and Gaddis are kind of evolving with each other, and they've got a whole off season now.
They have to for us to be successful.
Yeah, and now they have a whole off season to put an offense together. So hopefully, if Gaddis is back, they will be able to do that. All right, well, obviously we thank Canard Lang for coming on tonight. We thank all of the former players and coaches that participated in this show throughout. What is this, about season 5 of the Lamar Thomas Show?
Something like that. I feel like
that. But yeah, I mean, everyone was great, and we've had some great guests and great times on this show this year. And, of course, we thank all of you guys that watched all season long, and hope that you guys have a very happy holidays. And make sure when that XFL comes on, is it ESPN or ABC?
ABC, ESPN, Disney. Oh, we got it all. We got The Rock, baby. The Rock has a relationship with all of them.
Make sure you're cheering for the Orlando Guardians, okay? Yeah. And LT is and LT's receivers to have big seasons.
And my special teams.
And his special teams too. We won't go into that, but they got some goofy rules in this league. Lamar's
they do.
He's going to get to have a lot of fun drawing things up on special teams. So make sure you check those games out. And everybody have a great holiday. And Lamar will be back hopefully next year for season 6, 7, 8, whatever it is, of the Lamar Thomas Show. And for us, the show obviously marches on at CaneSport.com. And see you guys on the website. See you on the message boards. Have a great night, everybody.
Go Canes.